Welcome everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 1988 Holden VL Commodore Group A SV. Now it says 1010 horsepower, 847 pounds-feet of torque from a 7 litre twin turbocharged V8 engine. The car itself now weighs 2,621 pounds, now has off-road tyres, all-wheel drive and off-road suspension, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 2.488 seconds, 0 to 100 in 4.680 seconds, and going to a top speed of 259 miles an hour. So we've already seen what this car can do on the How Fast Will It Go series, and it did reasonably well, though that was with a different engine and more power. Gave it a different engine purely because it's this is a series about controllability and handling more than out and out speed. So let's see what it can do. So yeah, don't need massive amount of power on this series, though some cars only have the option of having a massive amount of power in this series. But yeah, still more than 1,000 horsepower, which is hardly a lightweight amount of horsepower, especially for a car that didn't even have 300 originally. So yeah, asking a lot from this vehicle, especially in terms of the off-road elements. Because yeah, that will have been a successful racing car in its time, but that was on tracks, not on dirt offerings like this. So hopefully it can deal with the off-road elements, plus obviously the all-wheel drive. One of the bigger killers on this series is understeer, when cars that weren't meant to deal with all-wheel drive end up understeering off into walls or going wide on corners, which always wastes time. A reasonable rate of speed down here, which is nice to see. Did brake a little bit too late there though. Just seems to be getting bounced around a fair bit, which is surprising considering this has quite a long wheelbase and it's quite a long car in general. Normally it's the lighter, shorter wheelbase cars that are more prone to being thrown around. But even though this is quite a long car, it's hardly the heaviest of vehicles that we've had on this series. Blasting across the finish line there at 178 miles an hour and a time of 2 minutes 2 seconds .182. And there's me thinking the Zenvo TSRS from the previous episode was quick, because this is even quicker than that. And it's also beaten the Porsche 718 RS60, the Toyota Hilux Arctic Trucks AT38, meaning it's gone into 10th position, knocking that Toyota Hilux out of the top 10, which has been in there for the longest of times. And it's also beaten the Lamborghini Urus, Aston Martin DBS Superleggera, Chevrolet Corvette ZR1, Maserati Levante S, and the Toyota Sleeker GT4, and it's just over 0.1 of a second behind the Ferrari Portofino and the Ford GT40 Mark 1, but it's still well off the Porsche 911 GT1, McLaren F1 GT and the ATS GT, which, as well as Bugatti Divo, which, yeah, 4 cars that you would never expect to be able to get around this course, not only under 2 minutes, but also be the fastest on the series, beating off-road vehicles like the Toyota Land Cruiser and the Toyota Hilux. So yeah, surprised this was as quick as it was, to be honest. And yeah, it's our first and only Holden in the top 10, and yeah, it's easily the fastest Holden that we've ever had. So yeah, mightily impressed by it, and yeah, there was very minimal problems with it as well. It had a bit of an issue with getting thrown around a little bit at times, but outside of that, yeah, it didn't have as much understeer as I feared, and yeah, handled the power and the off-road elements perfectly well. So yeah, big surprise, but that's the way I like it on the series, to have surprises. It would be boring as hell if everything was as predictable as you'd expect. So yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.